Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 11th of September. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And what an action-packed weekend, Gary, that we've just finished.
We have.
A very exciting weekend out there and the second weekend in the spring marketplace.
It's all happening.
And we have a special guest to introduce to you this morning, Gary.
Yeah, we certainly do, Philip. Great pleasure, Philip, to introduce this special guest, first time on GPTV. Let's get into it.
And our special guest today, Gary, is the one and only new GPTV handheld microphone. And we're very excited about this microphone because this microphone now gives us the ability to go out into the wider world and conduct interviews perhaps with the Premier, and we'll be able to stick our microphone in like that, Gary.
Yes.
And people will now see GPTV microphone all over.
Very special guests like Chasers, Norman Gunston, that sort of style.
Correct.
We're going to have a great time with it, Phil.
Very excited about this, but we also have a second guest this morning, Gary.
There's this guy here.
Well, I suppose he should be introduced.
I think so.
And this is our reigning salesperson of the month for the month of August. And it is the one, the only, Leor Samuel. Welcome to GPTV, Leor.
G'day, Leo.
Phil, thanks, Gary, for the opportunity to come on.
Why don't you hold the microphone?
Yeah, you can do that.
Pleasure.
Yeah, very good. Well done on your outstanding month for the month of August, salesperson of the month. Not the first time you've won it though, is it?
No, I've won. The beginning of the year was my last award, but it's always good. It's a great achievement, and it can't come unnoticed as well. I work alongside a great team of people, and this month, August, always good to get the award, especially for the winter months. But look, the efforts as well. With my brother, Aviv Samuel, who works with me, and Stacey Beams, has definitely contributed to a great month.
Leor is part of a very successful team of agents, ladies and gentlemen, and he has been with us for how long now, Leor?
5 years.
Okay.
2007, April, I started.
There's a good story here because Leor, we remember Leor as a young boy running around at our auctions. I remember distinctly one in Bamber Road where he was a little kid in a uniform. That's really aging us, Phil.
It is, yeah.
As a young kid, and he had thoughts of getting into real estate, so clearly academically you weren't too bright, must have been, but he did have some ideas of being in real estate and being out there, and he did work for some years in the St Kilda market, which he's still very active in, but he is in our Orong Road office. He's one of our 4 auctioneers, and he is one of our guys that is constantly successful. So well done and congratulations. What went right for you in August?
Look, I think there's a lot of negative sentiment in the air, and I think, look, bottom line, it's just doing, it's about the activity and, prospecting and chasing business the months before, but just really understanding clients' needs and wants and getting out there. And I think also from a selling point of view, just not to really sugarcoat things. I think sort of going through the process well and establishing obviously a good relation with buyers and feedback. And I think also, good campaigns, good exposure, and a lot of auctions that I had listed, sold, highly competitive and multiple bidders well above reserve in many cases, but just really knuckling down, and also, as I mentioned before, the assistance with Aviv Samuel, my brother, and Stacey behind the scenes to really get me out there made a big difference too.
One of the things that we're very well known for, of course, and we talk a lot about each week, is auctions, because every weekend there's an auction and it's always exciting, there's always something happening. But when we had a chat earlier, and this doesn't really talk about August, but you mentioned the last week, already in September, you've sold 4 private sales. I want to tell the GP viewers a bit more about that. Are you a bit of a private sales specialist, are you, or what?
Yeah, well, look, I like to think, as an auctioneer, one of the 4 auctioneers, I love auctions. It's sort of one reason why I got into real estate, and watching, Philip and Gary, practice 15 years ago. Oh, no, when I was 15 years old, I should say. I'm not 15 years of being close to, 14 years in real estate. But look, for me, private sales as well, development selling as well. I've got a block in Hotham Street which we've been marketing the last 6 months, and 2 sales last week.
How many have sold in that development?
We've sold 7 in Hotham Heritage Development, and it's great too. Not just auctions and private sales. It's also a lifeblood of our business too, because a lot of Melbourne-based people think auction orientated.
Yeah. You had 3 private sales last week, didn't you?
No, I had 4.
4 private sales. 2 in Hotham Street, 1 in Hopkins Street, and the other one in Cambrook Road. So whilst the activity on the weekend is very much auction focused, during the week you've been out there making in excess of about $3 million worth of private sales. So well done.
Yes, as we talked a little bit about the benefits or differences between auction and private sale, but Leo certainly does specialise in both, and as one of our 4 auctioneers, he had done many auctions before he came to us, but then went into some rigorous training with you, Phil.
Yes, we put him through the paces Gary, changed his style, tweaked him slightly, but it's a bit scary when we be sitting here with him in between the two of us, Gary, because Lior used to come to our auctions as a school kid, and he did say that we were a source of inspiration for him getting into real estate. So I'd like to publicly apologise to his parents. I'm sure you would have much preferred that we were doctors and that he'd come out on the weekend to have a look at us in our surgery, but no, just real estate agents. But you have had the most fantastic career, and it's really starting to blossom.
Yes, a misguided youth, but it's worked all right for you. So thank you. Good with that mic too, whipping it back and forward. So it's great to have you on board, Lior. What do you see happening in the market? How are you feeling about it at the moment?
I think it's balanced at the moment. I think there's a lot of, there's also a lot of negative press out there, but I think there's great buying opportunities, and the spring rush is coming on. I've listed a bit for October. I'm looking forward to that. September's going to be a bit quiet, but it's always good to get a few private sales away. But I think, look, there's going to be great opportunities, and there's a lot of value out there. And when the market moves, it moves, and it's a great time to buy and get in at the moment, especially in those pockets that you're looking. And if the listings come up, go for it, because property's a long-term gain.
Well, interest rates are pretty steady, aren't they? So there are opportunities everywhere.
Thanks for coming in, Lior. And with the way you've started the month of September, who knows, you may well be the reigning salesperson of the month for September. So keep up the fantastic work.
Welcome to GPTV and our new mic. And congratulations. I'll give that to you, Phil, because you're loving that.
So excited about this microphone.
Congratulations and well done to Lior Samuel.
Thank you. Well, Gary, great to have Lior Samuel on GPTV this week, and a worthy winner of Salesperson of the Month. And as I said before, rocketed out of the blocks for the month of September with those 4 fantastic sales.
He did. A very consistent performer, Philip, and he's very process-driven and very thorough, Lior.
And before we get stuck into the weekend that was, Gary, and we did have an amazing weekend with an 80% clearance rate. We'll come back to that in a moment.
Get the graph ready.
I just want to send a special cheerio to Michael Wold, who's probably noticed that I'm now sitting on your right-hand side instead of your left-hand side.
It's radical.
Breaking news on GPTV.
Wild things happening here, Phil. Let's talk about the weekend. Let's round it up, because plenty happened out there. You're right, Philip. We did have an 80% clearance rate
against the industry average, Gary.
61, Phil.
61%. And smashed it again.
And do you know what I did today? I had a look at what it was for the corresponding weekend last year, Phil. And last year, the corresponding
2011.
Weekend, that was last year. Worked that one out without a calculator or calendar. Brilliant. Last year, the same weekend was 52% clearance rate. So
what was our clearance rate?
No. I'm sure it was something wonderful and amazing, but I didn't look at that. But I looked at the industry. Last year, 52%. This year, 61%. And then there's always us, Phil, at 80%.
Well, the good news about us putting our fantastic results to the side at the moment. Industry clearance, that would mean it's up on 20% on last year in terms of the industry clearance rate. So we've been saying for the last few weeks on GPTV that things are clearly getting better out there. And I certainly noticed it at some of the auctions that I was either at or conducted.
Well, let's talk about those, Phil, because we reviewed them last week.
We may as well, Gary.
There's firstly the one at Alma Road that was on Saturday, I think it was 12:30.
It was listed by Benjamin Rothschild.
Yes, Jeremy
auctioned and really well auctioned by Jeremy Rosens, who did a fantastic job. But well done to Ben for the listing, because it was a really nice apartment in Alma Road. But we had 5 bidders there, and Jeremy did a sensational job. And it was fascinating for me to be just part of the crowd, to be on the other side of the microphone.
Yeah,
you were there as well.
Put the pressure on. Reserve was $625. Philip sold it for $658,000, I believe. Very
really strong result. But 5 bidders is the real key message there.
Absolutely. Then we went on to Erica Street, Glen Iris, that wonderful place that we featured and shot GPTV at last week. Tell us about that.
What a great home that was. That is and was 31A Erica Avenue in the heart of Glen Iris.
Great position.
A beautifully built 2-storey home, one of 2. And we had 2 solid bidders on that, with a third that didn't even get their chance to put their hand up. And it sold competitively. The reserve, I think, there was $1,450,000. Sold for $1,510,000, which was great to see. And just goes to show, Gary, Jeremy Rosens in the meeting this morning said that we had 6 auctions on the weekend in 6 different suburbs. So whether it's Glen Iris or Bentley or McKinnon, our spread is really increasing.
And this weekend we're actually covering 8 suburbs. Lior actually pointed that out to me.
8 suburbs.
A good point to bring up on GPTV. Not just a great salesman, Phil, but a good thinker too is Lior.
Strategic thinker, Gary.
That was a great one. On Sunday morning we sold, and actually also interestingly, the buyer for the property, Glen Iris, was someone that came across from Caulfield
South Caulfield.
So people are moving all over the place, aren't they?
Exactly.
Let's talk about what happened on Sunday morning morning, 232 Kooyong Road in the heart of Caulfield.
Well, that was an interesting auction, Gary, because that was a property where the vendors, two people owned that property,
Yes.
and both of them were considering buying the property.
Which we have to disclose under
which we
Victorian
have,
legislation.
Which we have to declare,
Yeah.
and as a result of both vendors
Yep.
having an interest in buying, the rules meant that as the auctioneer, I couldn't place a vendor bid. So I had to announce to the crowd, ladies and gentlemen, there will be no vendor bid, so if you don't bid, there will be no bidding here today. And I have to tell you, I was a little bit reticent about that. I've never experienced that before. So I called to the crowd that there would be no vendor bids. Somebody came straight out of the
No
box.
vendor bids made by you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Came straight out of the block with a opening bid of $850,000. We declared the property on the market at $1,100,000 and sold for $1,282,000.
Yeah.
So I have to say, not only it was a great result for a really good property, but it was the first time I've never used a vendor bid, and it was a liberating experience. I might try it again.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time you haven't used a vendor bid, but you certainly were in a position where you couldn't use a declared vendor bid.
you're absolutely
Interesting
right.
legal loophole there, Philip.
Well, not a loophole, just an interesting
Requirement, I
case,
should
an
say.
interesting case
Requirement.
of the new auction rules.
The
Fascinating.
one property that didn't sell, ladies and gentlemen, that's still available is at 27 Karawina. This is amazing that it hasn't sold. It's a beautiful home, and we've got a great price on it, and it's going to be someone's good opportunity.
Well, funnily that whilst we didn't sell it, and the auction was at 2:30
2:30, yeah.
yesterday.
Beautiful sunshine
We already
on
had
Sunday.
we had another appointment there at 5 o'clock. They're coming back for a second inspection today, I believe. So it may not be around, but it is a great property. And if you haven't seen it, you should jump online and
If
have
it's
a look
not
at that
sold
property.
yet.
Correct.
Let's talk- yeah.
Well, there were also a couple of other sales at the top end of the market, our
Yep.
$2 million plus end of the market,
Yes.
Gary. Two properties that didn't make it to auction. Prices undisclosed on both of them, but a property at number 21 Lamia Road was to go to auction on Sunday, sold before, and a fabulous house also in Cambia Grove, Caulfield North, meant to go to auction on Sunday, also sold before.
Too late.
Well, not too late,
Well,
they
they
were
got
just
there
sold
to the auction.
prior to auction.
Yeah.
If you arrived there at the auction, you would have seen the sold sticker up on the board.
But we would have
And I must
told you
say,
that.
our boards look fabulous at the best of times, but when there's a sold sticker on them, Gary, it brings a tear to my eye as I drive past them.
This weekend, Phil, let's move along, talk about what's happening. We've got some big ones coming up in different parts of Melbourne. One that I'm doing at 11:30 is in Orong Road, Armidale, 536A Orong Road,
Yeah.
Armidale.
Tell us about that,
Doing
Gary. It's a
one.
great
It's at
property, that one.
11:30 a.m. It's in a very small boutique group of villas. This is a single level one, a really nice property, beautifully positioned, just near High Street. That's in Orong Road, 11:30. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Probably be somewhere around that $1 million
Do you know what,
mark.
Gary? I'm not
Yeah.
sure that I've got an auction on at that time. I might come along and see how you do auctions
You
these
do
days.
that,
See
but
if
don't
you've
stay-
improved since I saw you last.
I've improved plenty, don't worry. I think you could learn from me, Philip. There's another one, though, that you can talk about, perhaps, because you'll be going there. So don't hang around in Armidale too late, because you've got to be in Bentley at number 22 Scotts Street, or Scotts Avenue in Bentley.
This is a fantastic house, Gary.
Brand new.
Yep, brand new property, and
5 bedrooms, count them.
Looking forward, 5 bedroom. Looking forward to auctioning this. This is a property that we've sold a property for the vendor only a short while ago. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this property performs.
Absolutely. I've got one at 12:30 as well, Philip, and I'm going to be running from Orong Road in Armidale down into Paran to High Street, 12 at 67 High Street, which is part of the old Paran Primary School. And interestingly enough, the vendor, I don't think the vendor would mind, one of the vendors, it's a lovely couple, works at Essendon, at the Essendon Football Club, and in fact has brought to my attention that Kevin Sheedy went to school there. I don't know.
Well,
if he would have attended it,
I can
mate.
tell you some other things about that property, Gary, that probably no one knows about. But
Is it suitable for general viewing?
Not really, but I
Okay.
spent 3 years of my life as a boarder at Wesley College, and we used to live in the boarding house, which was on the corner of Punt Road and High Street.
Yes, you did.
And I've got to
I
tell
knew
you,
then. Yep.
we did some seriously bad and seriously illegal things at that old primary school in the afternoons and on the weekends. So
just great.
thought I'd share a little bit about
That's
me
just
with
wonderful.
you.
Thanks for sharing your professionalism there, Phil. It's just wonderful. Where are we at the moment? We're at 10 Eileen Avenue. We haven't even spoken about this beautiful home. It goes to auction in a couple of weeks' time, but we're right in the heart of Caulfield South here. This is a fantastic house.
Gary, there's so much going for this house. First of all, it's got a gorgeous picture postcard, perfect facade,
It has.
fantastic floor plan, a really lovely mixture of all of the period features that a lot of buyers look for, but the modern luxuries of gorgeous bathrooms and kitchen on a north-facing allotment, so north-facing back garden,
Nice
and
block.
sits high on the block of land, so it's got real street presence. Walking distance also to the tram in Hawthorne Road and the fantastic
cafe?
redeveloped Princess Park. And I'm not going to talk about a cafe today, Gary.
There are some around though.
There are many.
Cafe Delish up the road, one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, a big week, big springtime coming up for GPTV and for everybody looking to buy or sell real estate. The competition's in full swing. All of the entries are in now, Philip, so thanks for coming in to that. It's closed off, but thanks for coming in. Got plenty of people chasing that iPad. iPad,
Gary.
the dinosaur of real estate, yeah. The iPad. So we're looking forward to giving that away, keeping you in touch in terms of how that competition's running.
Spring is in the air, Gary, and
all
I think
happening.
in the next couple of weeks we should probably do this in line with spring, something from Caulfield Racecourse, perhaps in line with the Spring Racing Carnival. Perhaps we'll dress up as jockeys, Gary, and get on a horse.
Get the silks going, Phil.
Yes, well, we know about you
And
and
pull your
silks,
whip.
Gary.
Yeah.
And the whips. Silk. Stay tuned for GPTV with an episode of Silks and Whips. Who knows?
That'll be the after hours version. We look forward to seeing you, ladies and gentlemen, next week on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Philip Kingston. Thanks for watching and have a great week.
Cheers.